YouTube! How's it going, guys? You good? I hope you're all well. Things are coming along with this. Anyways, so guys, in this one, we are going to be having a look at Forza Horizon 6. Now, I could benchmark the thing and go through all the different settings and what I can do resolution-wise and stuff for you. They're the same as every other quality benchmark video that's out there. To be honest, if you want a good benchmark for a game, then follow Zedworm's Gaming. He's freaking awesome. That's who I watch. He's usually got a game ahead of time, so check him out. That being said, in this video we're going to be having a look at Forza Horizon 6, and I thought I would share my settings with you guys, show you what I would recommend, certainly with a 5070 Ti, but the game's really quite well optimized, so you know you can tweak it yourself, but I'll show you my findings when it comes to the settings, and I'll also explain with each setting why I've chosen those settings. Also, I want to have a look at the game. You know, I'm kind of enjoying myself a little bit. I haven't done much in the way of the races, but I have spent a couple of days on there. I'll explain why, and I'll explain some of the cool things that they've added to the game that I've noticed so far. So yeah, without further ado, shall we hop in and have a look at the system, then have a look at the settings, and then have a look at the game? Yeah. Alright guys, let's go. So guys, the system. We are using a 12900KS with 32 gigs of DDR4, 4000 mega transfers, CL18, which makes it a 9 nanosecond DIMM. Quite a quick DIMM for DDR4. That is paired with a 5070 Ti, which is a Gainwood Phoenix Golden Sample flavor. I am manually overclocking it just a little bit. It's got just over 1600 megahertz on the VRAM and about plus 300 megahertz on the die. Before we jump into the game, I do want to go through some of the stuff that I have set in this. Now globally, I have this set, so I have it prefer maximum performance. My shader size, cache size is always 100 gig because I jump back and forth between large titles, AAA titles and stuff, and having a big shader cache. As long as you've got room in your drives for that cache to exist, I would recommend having a big shader cache, because it just means that basically every time you update your drivers, that cache clears and it starts again. But until you update your drivers, that 100 gigabyte cache will just literally cache all your games, so you won't have to deal with all the compiling of shaders and stuff all the frickin' time. So for me, I would recommend a larger shader cache, especially if you've got the room for it. As said, use power on maximum performance. Now, down in the legacy mode, I always step the texture filtering quality up to high. So if you are seeing maybe your 5070 Ti is doing maybe 5 FPS more than mine is in the same scenarios, this is why. Because default is quality, I always step it up to high quality for literally every game. Now, on Forza Horizon 6 specifically, I use preset B on the frame gen, and on the DLSS override, I use preset L. I'll just quickly show you why I do that. Uno momento. So we're just going to quickly look at preset K quickly. Now, there are two different ghosts to get this sort of smudging in the shadow. As you can see here, it's just repeating. If you have a look in the shadow of the car, you can see that smudging happening on the wing mirror there as it's dragging back. Not the worst thing in the world, but it is there. It's like a smudgy ghost. That's kind of frustrating. But the most egregious thing about it is that the back of the car, especially if you've got any coloured highlights, if the number plate's on the bumper on the car, that's going to show up. But basically it drags the back of the car down. The Cosy I'm using right now has got like an orange line across the top here, and you'll see it start to get dragged down. It's not the best. It'll happen straight away, and it's just something that, as you can see, it's happening right there. Yeah, it's just something that I can't recommend because of the ghosting from that. So you're thinking, what about preset M 4.5? That's the one you're supposed to use, right? Right, this is preset M, as you can see at the top of the screen there. We're going to come in here and you will start to see the ghosting. Now, the smudging ghosting has been dealt with preset M. That deals with that. However, there's a completely different type of ghosting that shows up, and you'll see it start to show up at the back of the car here. Now, it is more prevalent in the wider third-person view. But you'll see it. It'll literally, it's like a black pixelated patch that shows up behind the car. You can see it just start to flash behind the exhaust there. There you go. It's starting to show up. It's not as prevalent as on FH5, but it's still happening in Forza Horizon 6. So I can't recommend M because of this issue. Now, people have tried to recreate this. Let me just point out a couple of things. That there are a couple of scenarios where this ghosting shows up. Basically, it will not show up in any shadow that the game is portraying. So if there's a car shadow there, it won't show up. If there's like a shadow from the game, it won't show up in the shadow. It will, however, show up in the roads and in any of the game's lighting as such. So as you can see, it is starting to show. It does show up in the behind the car here on the road. Every so often you get these like black patches, especially when like the exhaust pops. You get like little flashes of it, and I just can't recommend M because of this. So even though DLAA is easily the best anti-aliasing on an Nvidia card in this game, I think FSR 4.1 is pretty freaking good, to be fair to it, to be fair to AMD. But like I said, DLAA is definitely the best anti-aliasing for the game, but the ghosting, I can't recommend it because of the ghosting. However, you will see with preset L, it's all gone. There's no ghosting, none really in any real sense. So that's what preset I use. We'll go into how that looks in the game in a moment after we've gone through the settings and stuff. The other things I wanted to come across to is on the legacy settings for this game, I set the anisotropic filtering to 16x and the texture filtering negative load bias I clamp. What I've noticed from doing this, I'm aware that the game kind of uses 16x anyway. However, this is kind of locking it to use 16x, so it can't alter. And the clamping seems to... Right, this happens on a lot of games. It's not something specifically for Forza and all that. Like, this happens on a lot of games, but basically any sort of moving object can have like a... I don't know, it's like it's almost like a ghost, but it's like an outline of the object. It's like, especially if you move quickly, that outline might take a slight bit to keep up, but it's not like colored or anything. It's just like almost like the shading of the game, isn't there? It's like a slight outline, like a space around it. Well, the clamping and setting that anisotropic filtering to 16x seems to fix that. So that's what I do. So I thought I'd quickly explain that. Also might make a couple of differences when it comes to performance and stuff. But should we get in the game I'll go through the settings quickly and explain why I've made the choices that I've made. I'm going to jump off screen for the settings so that you can fully see what I see. I'm not getting in the way, and then I'll jump back on. So shall we hop over onto the settings now, and then we'll get into the game, yeah? And I'll show you some of the stuff that I find kind of cool about the game, and I'll explain what options there are past the settings. Yeah, let's go. Right, okay guys, we're just going to have a quick look at the settings right now. We're going to have a look at reflections. I'm going to try and explain why I recommend medium ray traced reflections in this game. So, fortunately, they introduced this backspace live preview button. So, I'm going to hover over screen space, which is off at the moment. Hit that. So, this is set to medium ray traced, right? So, I've got a scene here. You can see everything that's going on in front of it. Looks cool. Looks really nice. Reflections look great. So this is medium RT. So if I click over to low screen space, you can see obviously completely different. And then we click over to medium screen space. Essentially the same, just maybe a little bit sharper. Then high does bring some details in, like it's almost like it's trying to RT it, but this is not good. And then ultra, it doesn't get any better, in all honesty. I think it just spans the reflection a bit further down windows, and then extreme, you're in the exact same boat. So that's why I can't recommend screen space reflections if you've got the ability to do a bit of RT, because now that's set to extreme screen space. Let's switch back over. So this is the extreme screen space reflections right now, and if I click into low RT, everything comes in. It all just appears, but you'll see that it doesn't go super far down here. You just get a bit of localized because it's low. Now medium, obviously that opens up this whole area, and then obviously you would think, oh, he's going to tell me to use high. Well, unfortunately no, because when you click high, you do get some sky here on a reflection, but in all honesty with you, I kind of think I prefer this to this. But also, if you have a look on the car, I have cars that make way more, because of the way I do paints and stuff. This car, it's surprising that this car is actually working quite so well in the reflections. The game does not like my paint jobs. I put so many layers into things. Anyways, as you can see on high, there's details on the car that will just pop, highlight. So there's obviously some fixing that needs to be done. So for me, medium RT are the best reflections that you can have on the game. So this doesn't look so bad, but I don't know, because I feel like the car reflections and the water reflections and, you know, the road reflections when it's raining and stuff look so good. It just makes you think that you don't need to put the RT on. And like, I'm sorry, but even though I'm going to say this now, lighting, I don't think you should use the RT, and I'll explain why in a second. But the reflections, this is what I recommend. This is what I play with. It's what I recommend. Medium ray traced reflections, they are the best in the game at the moment, unless they update it or we get like ray reconstruction and stuff to improve the light inside of things so that we can actually use it. But right, so I use ultra screen space GI on the lighting, so we'll move off reflections now. That annoys me that it keeps turning that off. That annoys me. I don't know what setting turns that off. It must be something to do with going down to like minimum settings on stuff and just knocks that off. I don't know what it is, but I keep finding it turned off. It's annoying. Screen space GI quality ultra. I just use Ultra. There's no point in using anything below that. Ultra looks freaking awesome on the lighting on there. Obviously you do have the ray traced options. So we're on Ultra GI. Moving over onto low, and as you can see, it's already boiling. There's boiling everywhere on low. It's horrendous. So that boiling just gets faster because you've gone to medium, so there's less of it. Like, I'm not noticing it as much in the car now and stuff, but I'm definitely still noticing it very much in the road, you know, in the surface. High, it's still there. Like, it's still there. The highest RT setting in lighting gives you boiling roads. Like, and this is minor. This is a minor annoyance, the boiling that's here at this precise moment in time. The worst bit is when you're inside like a tunnel that you're driving through. Like, the whole tunnel will just be boiling like this. So do not use ray traced lighting. It's not worth the impact, to be honest. It's not worth any of that. So just use ultra screen space lighting. The other things that I have changed whilst in here is I use the particles on medium, mostly because I feel like that helps with, you know, like some of the smudginess that you get in some of the shading and trees and stuff. I feel like dropping the particles down actually helps with that a little bit. And the lens effects on medium seem to help with the sort of screen space weirdness that you get in reflections in large bodies of water sometimes. There's like some sort of like screen space ghost almost that happens every so often. Maybe a sign will go past or something. You'll see it in like reflections in the lakes. Having that on medium seems to help that a bit. Doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix it, but it helps it a bit. And I have motion blur on low. But they are the settings that I would recommend and why I recommend them. I feel like the lighting one is really self-explanatory. If you do not want your game to boil like a little shit, then do not put ray traced lighting on. It looks kind of bad, and I'm a ray trace guy. You know, I like the stuff, but it looks kind of bad. Screen space ultra just looks the best. The GI quality on the lighting, it just looks the best. Her shadows on extreme on everything. I don't know why that was turned off. There must be something to do with reflections, but yeah, on reflections, medium ray traced reflections. I feel like I've shown you why. I think it kind of explains itself. So go and have a look yourself, but I promise you, they are the best reflections in the game at the minute. Medium ray traced. Everything else is on extreme. Everything's pretty much maxed out. Going back over onto the video now, we'll just go through. Obviously, I'm using DLAA preset L, which I've also explained to you why, and you'll see that there's no ghosting from it. Right, okay, guys. Well, we are in. I just before we go out driving, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that I've like about the obviously the update of Forza Horizon 6. The few little things that they've added to improve the experience, and that's in the paints. That I love the paints in this game. Like, look at my Cozzy. Like, it might not look it, but that paint, that pearl pea greeny coloured paint is quite complex. Like, there's quite a few layers to that colour. I like to mess with the paints, and what they allowed you to do in Forza Horizon 5 I really liked, and I was worried that they were going to screw that up, but fortunately they just made it a bit better. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better. So let me just pick something that we can just that I've not. I'll show you what I do with the vinyls afterwards, but what I've not put a layer over. Where do we have? Oh, go on. Look at the GT. Because this also shows an example of something. Right, so. With this, the car's actually painted. I know it doesn't look it, but it is. Basically, one thing that they have seemed to have added, I don't know whether it happens on every car, but it certainly happens on this one. As you can see, you can choose the factory paints, but this vinyl will stay until the vinyl's gone. So if you wanted a white 2 stripes with a Ford GT and stuff down the side, you could choose one of those. If you wanted a blue one, you could choose that one. If you want black, yada yada yada. But basically, you can come into any of these paints and paint underneath that, which is cool. I think that was already a thing though. But the funny thing is that I think it was in 4. This section was called base, right? And I understood why, but I didn't see a lot of people using them. But basically, in 5 we had a whole bunch of like Hot Wheels colours. So there was like Big Flake. Do you know what I mean? So it was like you were painting on a toy, because obviously the flake is much bigger. They've scrapped them, and we've got these 3. Now these 3 are actually pretty cool, man. They have different, obviously there's different shines to how that's going to work, but also you got the glitter one there. But I'll show you what I mean. So in here you can mess around with the colors. So if we pull the saturation up, this top one controls like the actual like base color of the paint, which is painted over the top. As you can see, see that pinkness showing up. As you build the brightness up, it will just become pink. But then this bottom one literally controls the glitter as such. So you could do whatever you wanted with that. I think pink's probably the worst color that I could have chose. Anyway, we've got blue there. You can bring that over into the red, then you get this sort of like pink nebula sort of flavor, but on a nice bright blue. You could also change that, get that so it was dark and just a little bit missing and stuff. You could bring this over to green, and you got that orange shining through, like. But then you could also pull that down so that you've got a much darker green. You can bring it right down. There's so much you can do with these particular paints, and this saturation thing here will literally just add like silver flake essentially to your colored flake there. So as you bring it down, you'll notice some of it will just like go silver, whereas the background will stay the color like. But you can just like, with certain color combinations, this is going to be differ with each one, but with certain color combinations you can really go to the point where you just add a tiny little bit. Did you see that little switch over from green to blue? I haven't even messed with the stuff down here, and you just got that lovely sort of nebulary color, the pink and blue. It's a nice combo, isn't it? But also, you got it straight over underneath the normal vinyls, which is cool. So yeah, I think these 3 paints are friggin' awesome. This one's obviously the heavy flake, but then you can literally come in here and do, say, we'll go like that. It's like a sunburst yellow, or I can't remember what that Renault color is like, but it's very sort of in that vibe. You can also pull that right down, so it's like a bronzy gold. So that's pretty cool. and you can change that bronze to more of a gold or more of a copper by just changing under the orange, dark orange, just changing that shine. You get that switch from copper to bronze to gold, and then you can go crazy with some green, bring it over, mess about over here. You can get near that nebula-y color with purples. It's just cool, man. Like these 3 paints are freaking awesome. So that's cool. Another addition is on the carbon. Now, how I tint carbon is a better option if you want the carbon to genuinely look a color. But this is cool. So basically, one of these stripes is, you'll see. So if I just pump the saturation and close in, you'll see that just one direction gets the color. So it's not the best application, but if you just pull that tint right down, you end up with like a pink, with like a reddish carbon, without being like, you know, half the stripes red but the other half's black. Whereas if you use vinyls to give you carbon a coloration, like you get the whole carbon, carbon gets colored. But that's still quite cool. Even with no saturation, the fact that you can really darken up the carbon's really cool. Like that, darkening it right up will just give you better definition if you're gonna throw a vinyl over the top of it. So that's cool in itself. So that's the majority of the differences. One thing I will add is you can literally choose any of these, and when you go into it, it will give you, say you've made a combination of paints, it will give you that as an option in the current section. You won't have to try and figure out matching it. It will just give you the option to use that color again, especially if you've been in here a few times. So that's pretty cool. That's the same for the brake pads, the calipers. You can do the exact same on there. You can literally use whatever you've used everywhere else if that's what you flavor. You can do the same on the wheels. It's actually quite extensive. The small differences by tinting and darkening the carbons, by adding those 3 paint colors, those differences alone have really stepped up the paints in this game. And then obviously you got your tints. Tints just work as normal, you know. So to explain what I mean by what I do to get colored carbon on vinyls, I'll just pluck another car that I've made. Right, for example, let's view the car. My Vulcan. If you have a look here, we'll change the camera on. Have a look. See how my carbon is green, all green, and I managed to get an all green camo that you can't get in the shop. That is not one of the camo options. The green one's got a load of brown in it, and I did that with vinyls. You can also add an extra shine to the paint with vinyls, but I'll see if I can figure out a way. Like I do a lot with that glitter paint and stuff. They're all kind of cool. But if I hop into this Sierra, the Cozzy, it's funny. This car, I basically make the exact same car. Well, I have done in the last 3 Forzas, and each one's better. But the upgrades that they've added in here are nice as well. So if we go into the vinyls, now you'll see here that the paint itself is made up of 16 different layers, and that is layers of, I think there's 3 different greens, a blue, a yellow, a brown, and I think an orange, if I remember rightly. That's what this green is made up of. But I put them at such a fine sort of I'll show you. Let me just ungroup this layer. Right, so these are all the same sort of, they're just different colors. So you can see there's blue ones here, there's green ones here, there's black, there's brown, there's like a different kind of green. And it was just whilst I was building up the color without taking away that pearl that is the paint that's underneath. You know that white pearl? That's the paint that is underneath this. So I'll show you what I mean. So basically, they're all at like 15%, you know, see-throughness, transparency. It's fucking written right there. Jesus Christ. So yeah, see-throughness. But essentially, I wanted to keep as much of the pearl as I possibly could, while still getting a strong color for the color that I wanted. And I was kind of going for I've always gone for this green, this sort of I don't know, it's like it's very close to a green that Ford did back in the 80s. So that's kind of why I went with it, and I've kind of loved it on this car. Only this car. I wouldn't paint another car this color, but it just works for this. So yeah, the transparency is at 16 on each one of these, and it's took 16 layers of this to, you know, get this color. But if you have a look on the bonnet, we go on to, if we're to get on the front view, see, if you have a look on the bonnet, I've literally, instead of coloring the vinyl itself, what I've done is I've darkened the vinyl. You can see on the carbon here, I've literally done it so that I literally get like a grey carbon stripe. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, you can see that the carbon like works so well through it, and it's because I use such a low transparency on the vinyl, so it gives you that see-throughness. I think there's like 3 layers maybe. Hold on, I'll have a look. I mean, that's it, but there's 3 stripes in there. So we've got, what, 10 between the 3 of them. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah. As you can tell, there's a few layers to keep it up there. But also another thing that they've actually added is the sun strips. The fact that you can now put vinyls on the windows, which is pretty cool. Like if you want to set your car up so it looks like like a drag car, it's got like all the names and all the numbers and stuff on the back windows and that. Like you could do that if you want. And if you're a little old school 90s, early 2000s head, you can put a fucking sun strip on it, can't you? Right, anyway, should we get into, now we've had a look at that, should we get into going for a drive? So normally I would just take the Cosy out, but I know you guys are Philistines, so I did make this car for this very reason. It's got a cool flip on it. Also, one thing that you can do in vinyls that I forgot to show you, I'll show you what this one. It's alright. Revolto, is it? Revolto or whatever. Revolto. Revuelto. Anyway, it's a cool car. But yeah, the other thing that is in this are options. If you click that, you can go into vinyl material, and you can choose for it to be like matte, or that's where it sits normally. So you can literally full on gloss up the vinyl, so it's like shinier than paint. It's kind of cool. But as you can see, I've done a vinyl wrap and stuff. See, this is I think it's red or orange, red under green, but I've also added like did you see it there? 4 layers of like lime green over the top, just so that green really holds its own, and the orange just pops through at certain sort of low light situations. You'll see. Anyway, right guys, so we are at DLAA with 10% sharpening, preset L, and I think reflex is on. As you can see, the game looks freaking awesome. We're gonna get into. We'll start counting the FPS. So yeah, guys. So this is with all my settings. Now, I know that from like obviously playing myself, but also we all know from like Daniel Owen's videos, Zed Williams Gaming, that native 1440p maxed out settings on this game, and this GPU 5070 Ti, you're looking at average of 60, slight dips into the 50s, but mostly up in the 60s, and it doesn't look far off what it looks like now. But actually this looks better because you don't get boiling in the tunnels and stuff from oh Jesus, that was weird. Anyway, yeah, you don't get any boiling and stuff in the tunnels or in the road surfaces and that. Everything's super stable. Like the clamping out and the 16X, that really does just like make things a lot more stable. Like you know, like flickering in the bushes and stuff, it don't really happen. And with this preset L, everything looks so freaking good. Let me just get that out of the way for a second. I mean, just look at the mountains and stuff. It looks so pretty, this game. It's kind of irritating that it's dark. But we'll just drive around. Yeah, that was motorway, wasn't it? Wrong way, but it's motorway nonetheless. So we'll just skip the traffic in it. Seems like a brilliant idea. And I can show you what I mean in the tunnels. Now, obviously the game has its own little weirdnesses that obviously, because the game is genuinely really quite good, we excuse it of. But it looks so damn good, even at night here. Ooh, forgot to put the overlay back. And the frame rates we're getting are friggin' awesome. And again, like I said, with preset L, you do not get any ghosting. And with this lighting and with the normal maxed out normal lighting and the RT medium reflections, the game just looks freaking awesome. Obviously, you have the car reflections on extreme, which I've said before, I genuinely believe that the car reflections control the rain in road reflections, and possibly the water reflections as well. I think the RT only does sort of like windows and stuff, possibly other cars, which is why it doesn't make it does make an impact, but it's not like crazy impact. Coming in tonight and stuff, you might see the flip in this paint, but yeah, no, this is the best it looks. And you know, you can easily play native like this with an average of basically 90 FPS and have the best time in the world. Like I'm an advocate for DLSS. I feel like when it makes sense, you want to add a few FPS and stuff like, and it really looks well, then why the hell not? I'm not going to lie, quality DLSS in this game does look pretty close to native. However, I think actually the best way to the best thing for you to do in this, and this is a crazy thing for me to say, I'm going to say this now, this is nuts for me to say because it's not who I am. But in all honesty, I have been playing a little bit. I need to pull this up. But I have been using 2x frame gen, and it's been good. And it drops the latency weirdly. How? I don't know. I don't know, but you just seen it. Like, in this game, frame gen drops your latency. Like, it's almost like you get the benefit of those extra frames. It's not just smoothness. But on the point of smoothness, wow. Like, I've got a 165 hertz monitor here, and it basically bounces. Let's start the recount. Now, the 1% lows, you have to double them, because essentially every one of those frames is 2 frames. So I just can't be bothered setting up the Nvidia app to do the count for me. So it's roughly double what you see in there. So it's like, what, 1% lows of like 115 or something, 116, with averages of 148, and we're now sitting at 155 at the minute. These settings basically give my card up to basically just shy of 170 FPS. If I'm just staring into the sky or something, it'll give me like 180s, but it's like under 160 most of the time. And having that and a 165 hertz monitor, it's just so nice. I mean, look at that red just flashing through the green there. So cool. Oh, look at the city in the distance there. This game looks so freaking good. Even with its, like, obviously it's not the most advanced graphics I've ever seen in my life, but what they've done with it is freaking phenomenal, isn't it? They've done a good job. And the fact that it runs so well just adds to the whole thing. I don't know what was happening there. Someone rewind because they bailed. It's such a good game, man. It plays so well. Everything's so smooth. And this is the first time I have ever seen frame gen give me less latency. Like, this is the first game I have seen the frame gen work in a sense where it actually gives me better latency with the frame rate, only slightly, but still better nonetheless, and feels this solid. Like, this feels smooth. There's no judder like there was before. Maybe that's the clamping out, as maybe that's helping out as well. But wow, the only thing I've noticed with the frame gen is you do get a little bit of I don't know whether you call it a ghost or like an outline or whatever, but your car at times can have like an almost invisible outline. But in all honesty, I know that you guys have probably already seen it since I've turned frame gen on. Like, in all honesty, if I stare at the back of the car, I'll see it most of the time. But it only happens when you're driving. It's the slightest ghosting on the game out of any of the settings from any of the anti-aliases. I can't use 4.1 FSR, so I can't comment. But I'm not going to change my GPU just so that I don't get that slight outline around my card. Do you know what I mean? The frame gen works so good in this game. Like, I play like this. I'm not the sort of person who opts for frame gen. Like, I'm the sort of person that would normally be like, nah, I'd rather just play native at 90. But I can't lie, this is phenomenal. Like I said, you do get a slight bit of artifacting around the edges of the car at times. Sometimes when you make a brash judgment on your turn and stuff. But it feels so good. The game feels so good with these settings. It looks so good. Everything, like, it's not got the best load scale as it is the game, like, but that's part of its efficiency, innit? But wow, this game looks good. Alright guys, different part of the map, different car, but I had to stop, see the city waking up, you know. Game looks freaking awesome, doesn't it? Like, even in this low light. Car just chugging away. Chug, 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 chug. Birds look so fucking spot on. They probably look fucking shite if you got up close to one, like, but goddamn, they look good from a distance. Those mountains, all the detail at distance and stuff. This preset L works so fucking good. I wanted to show you the game in the day, basically, before I closed this down. I wanted to show you the game in the day, and I had to wait for it. Oh, if you guys didn't know, if you were like, how the hell are you supposed to get that experience fucking board on the roof of that building by the thing? Basically, there's a hill behind it there. You see, it's up on the roof. Up on the roof of this building above me, this tall building there. There's a experience thing on the roof, and you have to jump from that there. I thought I was at that then, but you have to jump from that there. I've been on the game a bit, but I've not done much in the way of races yet. I've just been messing around with paints and that, and exploring the map. I think I've got like maybe 20 odd roads left to collect. But yeah, guys, genuinely, this game is beautiful. Like, I mean, like I said, it's not the most advanced graphics I've ever seen in my life. Like, especially on the RT side, that needs some R&R, and it needs some work. That does. All that boiling's terrible, but with these settings, wow, this game looks good, and it performs well. And I genuinely can wholeheartedly. I mean, I could say you'd be fine on DLAA native 1440p with these settings. You'll be fine with it. But in a surprise to me more than anyone else, I recommend you try 2x frame gen. I wouldn't bother with more than 2x. You just don't need it. But this feels so good. This is how I'm playing the game. I've got the frame gen preset is set to B in the app, as you can see at the top of the screen there, and the latency is awesome in comparison to the native latency, and my frame rate's high. Like, I'm getting basically the refresh rate of my monitor, but it's G-Sync, so I'm literally getting whatever it's saying I'm getting. So if I'm at 140, I'm at 140. If I'm at 139, I'm at 139, which is awesome. You gotta love a bit of G-Sync. And it just feels so good. Like, there's no delay to you. There's no response issue. Any issue from me crashing is me, you know? So, yeah, guys, are you playing Forza? Are you playing Horizon 6? What do you think of the settings? Do you understand why I'm using the medium ray trace reflections now? Do you understand why I'm saying that they're the best in the game at the minute? Hopefully these settings help someone. If look, if one person gets a better experience from their console, from their PC, then I feel like the job is done, you know. Remember, you can definitely make some alterations to this. So any alterations that you've had to make, you know, to you know what you've had to do to get your GPU to run. This is on a 5070 Ti. You could probably run these settings and get, I don't even know, I'd have to try it. I'll get the 3060 out in it. Who wants to see the 3060 in Horizon 6? See what settings I can come up with for that. Leave a comment down below and I'll jump on it. I'll literally jump on it. I don't mind throwing the old girl back in. So yeah, guys, You didn't see that. I'll cut it. I'll cut it. Right, anyways, guys, let me know what you think down below. Would you try these settings out? Are you surprised at how well the frame gen works in this game? Because I freaking am. So yeah, let me know, guys, and hopefully this has helped you out a little bit, or at least been entertaining. And you'd have thought I'd pick somewhere a bit better than like buried in a hedge to have in the background whilst talking to you. Just quickly, guys, get that out of the way. Just quickly, as I was saying, with the weird smudgy shadows you get, shading you get in the trees and stuff, like with those particles down to medium, they don't seem to appear. And this is like prime area for them to appear. But yeah, no, everything just stays nice and crispy. So yeah, as I said, guys, let me know what you think. Sorry I had to throw this in at the end. So yeah, guys, I've enjoyed making this video, obviously. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I hope this helps you out. Try the settings, let me know what you think. Yeah, drop your comments down below if you disagree with anything that I'm doing here. If you've got a problem with anything that I'm doing here, please pipe up. I'm here, I'm all ears. It's all good. If you've made it to the end of the video, you're one of the real ones, and I appreciate you as well as everyone else, like, but I appreciate you more. Right, guys, I will see you in the next one. I am trying to get over this mental block and get more content out quicker. Just please, a little bit of patience, we'll be there. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Are you playing the game? Are you enjoying the game? I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share. Like and subscribe. Thank you.